my name is Jason JROCK Houston. You guys are listening to an interview being done tonight for JROCK Riffs Magazine. We can be found on the web at www.jrockrifts.com. And it's my great pleasure to be speaking with guitar extraordinaire Joe Stump. How you doing tonight, Joe?
Good, always good. Like I say, I live a charmed life, so I can't complain.
Yeah, now let me ask you, Joe, because for anybody who's not familiar with your music, you're one of these like great shredder type guys that you would have really been one of, like, I think you're one of those guitar heroes from the 80s. I was curious if you've ever had because you released a lot of great solo CDs of your own. Have you ever been offered to join an existing band or anything like that?
No, I never, nothing ever fell into my lap, and I never really went out for anything, no. I mean, if I thought of like a sideman, like being a sideman, and something that I'd be a good fit for, it would probably be like the Dio solo stuff. That would have been a cool gig for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously, sadly, Roddy passed years ago. But that would be something where it's like I would love to do that, but no, nothing like that ever.
And that kind of leads into what we're talking about tonight. You've got a great Ritchie Blackmore tribute you put together called Black Knight's Castle. Now, being someone that's aware of you for quite a number of years, I was curious if this project came up because people tell you you got the Stratocaster like Blackmore, you play like him, or is this something you've always wanted to do?
I think one of the things that when I would go over to Europe and tour, I would do I would go over with me and one of the guys that plays with me in the States. Jay Rigney plays bass with me, so we would go over and we would play with a couple of European guys, like a bass player and a drummer, and we do a run of shows, and I would do some of the Reign of Terror material. Just some Reign of Terror power metal band. I released several records with early 2000s and later 90s, and as well as like some of my solo stuff. But then I would also do a bunch of Purple and Rainbow. So it kind of so I always, and I'm a huge Blackmore fanatic. He's one of my heroes and stuff. And so it just kind of stemmed from there.
Wow.
And it's the kind of thing where it was like the Black Knight's Castle is basically my solo band with a singer, and we have all the keys like triggered on like a playback or whatever. So it's just a little bit easier in like smaller places without the keyboard player, but like having the keys. And we play primarily Rainbow stuff and some Purple stuff as well.
Yeah, and I'm assuming based on that like you said, you're a Blackmore fan, but did you primarily a fan of the Rainbow stuff? Is that kind of when he came on your radar?
No, I'm a huge Purple fan as well.
Oh, okay.
I love all eras of Blackmore stuff. Whether it's the early Purple stuff, or Fireball in Rock, made in Japan, and then the later Coverdale stuff, or all the eras of I loved all the eras of Rainbow, whether it was the classic Dio lineup, which of course everybody looks to as the real lineup of Rainbow, but I love the Joe Linzer and Graham Bonnet era Rainbow stuff, as well as the stuff Doogie White did.
Yeah, I gotta say, I feel that one of the most underrated Purple albums is that Burn album, because you gotta remember, that's when Ian Gillan and Roger Glover left, and people thought that was such a huge loss, and Coverdale came in, and with Glenn Hughes, and they really made it their own, and and the band just went even further.
Like I would rate, as far as the Purple studio records, I would rate Machine Head and then Burn after that.
Yeah.
As far as like studio and live recordings for Purple, I would go Machine Head, Made in Japan, and Burn, and then Made in Europe or Live in London's great.
Yeah. And it's funny, even like Made in Japan, I've heard stories where that was kind of a record company thing. The band didn't even want to release it, and and it just kind of became such a monster hit on its own.
Yeah, one of the greatest, if not the greatest, live record of all time.
Yeah.
And many other people's opinion as well.
And so, let me ask you, Joe. Talk a little bit about the singer in the band. Who is he, and how did you discover him?
Oh, Andre Vancho is the singer, and Andre, I was doing a European thing where with a bunch of shows in like Holland and Belgium, and it was during the Reign of Terror days, and Mike Becerra was sitting with me at the time and working with me, and he couldn't do the run of dates, the tour over there, so he suggested Andre, and so we've been in touch on and off and stuff, and then I told him I was thinking of putting this Blackmore tribute together, and he's like, great, let me know, and we put a list of tracks together. And the thing's been up and running now since it'll be a year in February.
And so, wow.
And it's great for me because I do play shows with my solos.
Yeah.
But for that kind of thing, that kind of virtuoso guitar thing, and being all instrumental, there's a limited amount of venues. I'll play like guitar shows with other players and different things. Like we have 3 guitar virtuoso guys or whatever, and their bands doing stuff. But the amount of venues that you can play are fewer and further between. But with the Blackmore thing, I can play all these larger clubs that would have tribute things, and it's like I'm getting away with murder because I'm playing like all this guitar. It's like a very excessive guitar show,
Yeah.
Because obviously when Blackmore played live in Rainbow, he would go off and play very lengthy solos and stuff. I mean, I played a show last night. I think I played Mistreated for like 16 minutes or something.
Oh wow! And I gotta ask you, that's another great Deep Purple track, Mistreated. Have you had a chance to hear the new Whitesnake album that he put out called the Purple Album?
I've heard bits and pieces, and it sounds, sounds real good. But to me, both Red Beach and Joel Hoekstra are of course like great players, but neither of them, and they do a great job on the record. Neither of them strike me as like a very heavily Blackmore influenced player or something like that. But they do a great job on the record. But I've only heard like bits and pieces of things. But it sounds very good.
Well, what I will say is this: I also seen a video of your band doing the song Storebringer, and like what they do on the Whitesnake album. I was really impressed with what you guys do because it kind of brought that song back to life to me. I mean, when I heard the original track by Purple back in the day, the Whitesnake version, I don't know, they rocked it up a little more, and kind of, I guess you guys did the same thing, but it just kind of, you go back to that original Purple track, and you're like, that was not such a bad track after all.
That track's a bit, that track's on Made in Europe.
Yeah.
So the Made in Europe version is a bit meaner and a bit heavier. Yeah. And a lot of times when I'm playing the stuff, what I'll do is I'll go through like several, I'll check out like several different, because I have a huge collection of Blackmore stuff, so I'll go through several different recordings, and like say I'm playing Mistreated, I'll do like the intro from I'll do part of the intro from Made in Europe and combine that with some of the intro from Live on Stage, and then in the midst of the solo, I'll play, various things from various live recordings of Mistreated, plus of course I'll incorporate some of the more technical types of things that I'm a bit noted for. So kind of combine that with the whole Ritchie thing.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting. The tribute scene, in different parts of the world has really taken off. Especially here in Los Angeles and other parts of the world. And you got your name added to this band. So do you go out and play shows with other tribute bands, or are you more like play with national acts? What type of gigs have you guys been doing?
With Black Knight's Cast, I also play in another Purple tribute band called Stormbringer.
Oh, okay.
And Stormbringer is like just strictly just Purple.
Oh, okay.
And I'm playing quite frequently, and then mixing some solo stuff in there, solo shows in there. But normally we'll play, with Stormbringer, I've played with other tributes. With Black Knight's Castle, we've played, we've played where we played with original bands opening up too. Like we played a show last night at a very nice venue in Western Mass, and it was with with some original band playing in front of us, or original local bands. So it's kind of like a mix. Sometimes band playing some tribute things, and sometimes it's just a local group.
Yeah, what I love about these tribute bands too is a lot of them shows that I've been to, they try to recreate the look and the atmosphere and the times. And just looking at like a photo on your Facebook page, I mean, you really look like part of Ritchie Blackmore. So I gotta ask, how much of that is a costume versus just your natural look? Because just looking at photos of Joe Stump, you look a lot like the man yourself.
Well, I mean, of course, that whole kind of like wearing the uniform, as I like to say.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, that whole like dressing all in black, and with the high heel boots and the whole thing. Like of course, where do you think Ingve adopted a lot of from?
Yeah.
So, of course, like Blackmore, and there's another guy who's from South America, called Walter Giardino, and Walter plays with this band Rata Blanca, and Walter's a huge, Blackmore disciple as well. Blackmore and wears the uniform, plays a strap with a scallop neck and the whole thing. So of course, it's not like I had to get a whole new wardrobe. A lot of the stuff.
Yeah. That's my point. I was trying to make there. Yeah,
exactly. So a lot of the stuff one thing I did pull out for that is I have these old I have these white boots like and they used to be my main stage boots in the very late 80s, early 90s. And similar to the white boots you'd see Blackmore wearing circa 1981, 82, where the Joe Lanterna stuff where he's rocking the white high heel boots with the Cuban heel and stuff. I pulled those out, so the whole thing's fairly legit.
Wow. And so I got to ask, because again, the name of the band is Black Knight's Castle. Obviously, that's a great Deep Purple song, and that's what Blackmore was known by his bandmates for years, the Black Knight. And I noticed the new CD you have out, a new Joe Stump CD you have out, is called The Dark Lord Rises. Is that kind of your nickname that you go by?
Yeah, well, kind of a lot of people refer to me as the Shred Lord or whatever.
Yeah.
Which just kind of, it's not like I nicknamed myself that. That just kind of, it was my email address, and then everybody started to refer to me as the Shred Lord. So then it just kind of stuck. And like the Dark Lord Rises sounds a lot cooler than the Shred Lord.
Yeah.
So it just kind of came from that.
And it's kind of funny.
And Black Knight's Castle was a tune that was on, like a Blackmore inspired track that was on my previous solo record, Revenge of the Shred Lord.
Yeah.
And on the new solo record, the Dark Lord Rises, I have a tune called The Black Knight Returns. And it's a total Blackmore thing. There's several heavily Blackmore inspired tracks on the new record, big surprise.
Yeah.
But it's also cool since I have a few tracks like that. Like last night I played The Black Knight Returns off my new solo record, mixed in with the rest of the rainbow and black and purple stuff, and it fit right into the set. So it's kind of it works out nice because people that are fans of Purple and Rainbow will come to see the show, and they certainly are extremely entertained by the whole thing, and people that are fans of my solo stuff will come and know that I'm going to play a ton of guitar, and they certainly get their money's worth as far as that goes.
Yeah, and a very cool thing about that to me is a fan myself is I think, okay, here's a guy that because you might get people coming to the Black Knight show thing. Like, this is a guy just trying to live off of what Ritchie Blackmore did. But then you put a song in there and you sell your. I hear you sell your solo CD at the show. People say, oh, you know what, this guy's quite capable of, putting out his own music. So I think that's a cool thing. People get to see both sides of what you do.
Oh yeah, but plus it's a bit more, it's a bit more legit than somebody that's just like, a hack tribute guy. Doing the stuff. So because myself and the rest of the band, well, everybody plays it at a high level. So the thing's fairly legit. The band's got a huge sound and stuff, and of course, and the other thing is I do all the whether it's rubbing my guitar against the stacks or the monitors or throwing it up in the air or swinging it around my head, or so I do all the all the cool ass, and I do that during solo shows too. Obviously, that's where I got all the moves from Ritchie. So.
Yeah, and as far as your solo stuff, I was curious. A lot of what stuff you put out is primarily like instrumental stuff, and it's great stuff for people that are fans of that guitar shredder type of music. But have you ever had any desire to put out a Joe Stump solo CD featuring different vocals, or even maybe having a singer just come on board for the one album?
Yes. I mean, I thought usually if I'm doing something like that, I'll put like a band name under it.
That's cool.
Because a lot of people, it's very strange because the guitar virtuoso kind of instrumental thing is kind of a niche where like a lot of people buy a lot of fans of mine that expect a solo record from me. They expect it to be all instrumental and guitar heavy and shred heavy and all that. But I had the Reign of Terror for a while, and then I kind of stopped doing that because I got busy with Holy Hell. And then I had this one, not my band, but I played guitar in this one doom metal band, Exorcism. Exorcism released a full-length record. I want to say, was it last year, and then an EP this year. So I played on that stuff. And I also have a new vocal project called Tower of Babel.
Oh.
It's with all European guys. Mark Ross is playing drums, and he played with Firewind, and I think he did a stint with Halloween and stuff.
Oh, wow.
And there's Past Mark from Royal Hunt is playing bass on the thing, and Mysteria, Italian keyboard virtuoso, was playing keys, and Chavez Second from Exorcism and Ravenlord is singing.
Wow.
And so it's all, and that's the other thing. It's all European guys except for me. And the material is I wrote all the stuff, and the stuff is primarily, obviously, big surprise, like heavily rainbow and purple. Heavy rainbow purple vibe to it, and of course some of the more. I got a few more technical kind of Ingbe-esque things, and a couple Axel Rudy Pell kind of Shankerish things on there as well, and so we're well, the record's not finished, but we're kind of like the vocals are being done on it now. All the instruments are done, and then we just got to do the vocals and mix the thing and see who's going to pick it up and put it out.
Yeah, and then I know another thing you have coming up, Joe, is this cruise that you're part of, and I believe it takes off in February. How excited are you about that?
I'm of course very excited. That Axes and Anchors thing. It's axesandanchors.com, and anybody that's interested in checking it out. And of course, there's all legendary players on it. I wasn't including myself in there. I was talking like Ingbe's on there, Michael Schenker's on there, Zach Wilde is on it, Tony McAlpine, Marty Friedman, just like Tracy Guns, Alex Skolnick, tons and tons of great players. So I'm really fortunate that I got invited to go on that as well. And
you know how your name came up? Because again, like you said, all these named guys, and then you're part of it. And like I said, a guy like me that followed many hard rock and metal acts over the years, I'm aware of who Joe Stump is, but maybe some of these other, a lot of these other people aren't, that are like an LA Guns fan or a fan of Rudy Sarza. So do you know how your name came up? Because I think it's great that an artist like you gets a chance to take part in this, and get a little more spotlight on you.
Yeah, I think the way, because I'm a little bit, obviously, but that all those guys I mentioned, I'm a bit more under the radar. Then I'm a bit more of an underground kind of guitar hero, kind of thing. But even though hardcore fans of guitar music are very familiar with my stuff, but it was a combination of two things. Andre Vancho, that sings with me in Black Knight's Castle, he's friendly with one of the guys that's putting the cruise together, and then they kept looking on various guitar and forums and stuff, and my name kept popping up, and so the combination of of my name and Andre being friendly with one of the guys that's helping put the cruise together, the combination of the two things.
Wow.
That's how it kind of worked out, and as it turned out, the woman that's putting the cruise together, she actually sent me a nice email saying that when they announced that I was going to be on, a bunch of people, responded and said, that was very cool. I'm, glad that he's part of it and all that kind of stuff. So it's a nice thing, and of course I'm looking forward to seeing everybody play.
Yeah, of course I gotta ask if you're at all aware of if Tony McAlpine's still part of it, because I understand he's been battling cancer.
Yeah, I don't really know what the status of, I don't know Tony at all. I met him once briefly.
Yeah.
I went to see him play at a show. I couldn't tell you how many. It was months ago, less than maybe 4 or 5 months ago.
Yeah.
I saw him, but I'm not sure. I hope he is, and I hope he's doing better and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know.
Yeah. On that note, I just hope he gets better, like you said, Joe, and maybe that's a sign that he's going to be able to take part. But in any event, we wish Tony a speedy recovery.
Yes, of course.
And
I met him briefly, and of course he's a wonderfully nice guy. But that's terrible. That's terrible. I hope he heals up quick.
Yeah, and getting back to what you do, Joe, I gotta ask you, getting back to Ritchie Blackmore. Do you remember what was the first song you heard by Blackmore on the radio, or what was the first song you learned to play by him?
Well, it was the early Purple stuff, with Made in Japan, Machine Head, and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
I was more aware of that than I was, the previous, like Fireball and then Rock and stuff. So that was kind of my introduction to Blackmore.
Yeah.
But he's somebody I always liked, and that's the cool thing. I've been since between doing the Blackmore tribute thing, it's kind of come into kind of made its way into my writing and my playing more so. And on my new solo record, there's The Dark Lord Rises. There's several. There's another Blackmore inspired tune called Stratomaster, and so there's a bunch of different things that while there's still plenty of shredding and that kind of thing on there, there's plenty of because that's the thing about Ritchie that strikes me, that balls and attitude and rock. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That a lot of the shred guys don't necessarily have. It's all nice and polite, and extremely nicely put together and perfectly played and all that, which is cool. I'm for technical excellence as much as the next guy, but you got to have some balls and rock behind it. Yeah,
I mean, to me, that's one thing I've always been a fan of his for. I mean, I've got this live CD of Deep Purple when they did the Cal Jam, and man, Ritchie was just so alive. I mean, I've seen video footage where he was hitting the cameraman with his guitar, but man, that's what I always loved about Purple. It's one thing to put a Deep Purple record on, but to go see the band in concert, especially back in the day, I mean, they had 20-minute jam sessions just on one song.
Oh yeah, and the thing is, Blackmore's stage wasn't very bulldozing, and he just kind of, went out there and started taking over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I try to translate that same kind of, that same kind of attitude when I play live or whatever.
And obviously, a guy that's been influenced by him all these years, I gotta ask, when learning to play his stuff, is it any more difficult than learning other players? Because I understand a lot of his stuff that he's done is based on like neoclassical music from thousands of years ago.
Well, he does. I mean, he was extremely technical for his time period and way ahead of his time.
Yeah.
As a player, and to me, technically speaking, you have all the not to take anything away from the British guitar giants, like Jeff Beck and Eric Clapton and Jim Page. When general guitar people talk about great British guitar players, those are the holy trinity of guys that everybody's usually talking about. Not me, but other guys.
Yeah.
But I'll take no offense, but I'll take Ritchie over those guys any day.
Yeah, I mean, forget about the guys playing. He's just got such a this coming out wrong. I apologize, but such an FU attitude. I mean, he's a guy that left Deep Purple like over 20 years ago, and he's kind of been doing his own thing, and he's still out there doing it. And I love the fact that he's still out there, but he's doing what he loves. It doesn't matter that maybe it's not selling as well. He's in a place in life where he doesn't need to worry about making it. It's about doing what he loves.
Yeah. Well, he's always, he's very. Now he's returning to rock, which of course is very exciting for everybody's very excited about that.
Yeah.
So because now that he's got a bunch of festival dates, or at least a few over in Europe, and you never know, he might. It might be the kind of thing where he enjoys it so much that maybe he does a little more of it, or it just might be that might be it.
I mean, I'm kind of thinking like you, Joe, that it could go one of two ways, because I've already heard talk that he's planning on, filming some of those shows to put out like a live DVD and maybe a CD or something of it. He's already got that planned, and this is his return to rock, like you said, after almost, over 20 years. And so, as a Ritchie fan you are, I was curious, any chance you might be flying to Europe to go see any of those?
I'm going. I already got because I've played in Europe many times, so I have friends over there.
Yeah.
So a good buddy of mine has already picked up. I'm going to both German shows.
Wow, how cool!
It's an 18.
How cool!
So and it's very interesting for me because this will be. You never know. I might try to parlay the trip into doing a couple things while I'm over there. But it would be like the first time I ever went over to Europe as like a spectator, it'd be the first time I ever went over to Europe and wasn't playing.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping like it's going to go like you think, which maybe the shows will be so successful that he'll at least do some shows here in the States, maybe a longer run, at least some type of at least farewell type thing. But I mean, what a way to go out if that's the way he's planning to go out. And I got to ask you about the Blackmore night thing because I recently got turned on to that, and again, if you're expecting Deep Purple and Rainbow, it's not that. But like a lot of people, I didn't even bother giving it a listen, and then somebody sent me a CD, and I thought, what, this isn't so bad. It's not Deep Purple, it's not Rainbow, but hey, it's Ritchie. It's something,
Oh yeah, well I mean it's fairly. I mean the thing is fairly legit, and I do plenty of justice. As far as the music goes, because you have to honor it and stuff.
Yeah.
And I managed to incorporate some technical stuff guitar-wise that goes a little bit beyond it. So it's a nice mix.
Yeah.
But like I said before, people that are fans of my solo stuff, if they want to come see me play guitar, they're very happy, and fans of that type of thing are very happy as well.
Yeah, and getting back to your new CD, I was curious, Joe. People that go out and buy the CD, how many tracks are on the CD, and are you happy with the way it's been selling?
Well, it just came out at the just a couple weeks ago. So the review and it went to press I want to say fairly lit. Instead of where you might get a record sent to press months before, and it went to press right around the release date. So probably a lot of the reviews will, and I'm doing interviews for it and stuff, and there's been a bunch of reviews. But there'll be a lot more stuff popping up about it over the next coming months, which I don't really mind at all. Give the record plenty of life, in the longer life and stuff. But I'm extremely saying that it's the best record I've ever done, and I'm extremely proud of it. And there's some viciously heavy stuff on it. I have like one tune, Staring into the Abyss, that is got some extreme metal and black metal elements to it, kind of like a combination between that and power metal. Of course, I got the blazing neoclassical stuff. You know that's influenced by, of course, Ingve. You know, another one of my heroes, as well as like classical composers I like. I have plenty of other heavier things, stuff. Power metal things. Like I said, the neoclassical stuff, and that I have a beautiful ballad that I dedicated to Gary Moore.
Wow.
Another one of my heroes. That's one of the, as far as that kind of thing, like the emotional side of my playing, and that kind of slow melodic kind of thing. That came out. That's like the best thing I've ever done, and one of the best tracks I've ever recorded. And then you have like the Blackmore stuff, like I mentioned, Stratomaster and the Black Knight Returns.
Oh, cool. Well, definitely.
So it runs the full spectrum. Because I love all kinds of stuff, whether it's Rainbow or Merciful Fate, whether it's some black metal stuff, or Ingve or whatever, so it's got like all of even though it's dark and very heavy record, it's still got all of the it's fairly diverse.
Yeah, did you get a chance to hear about new CDs? Speaking of Merciful Fate, that the two guitar players put out.
The Dennis Sherman thing. Sean Peck's got a great voice.
Oh yeah.
Gage and sings with Death Dealer, so he's a killer, and so he sounds great, and I love I really enjoyed the EP. I'm loving it.
Well, I'll just tell you, Joe, if you have a chance, Sean put out 3 great CDs in October. That being one of them, but there's a new Cage one, and then of course a new Death Dealer.
And then the Death Dealer, yeah. But I love the I was in fact Sherman had, like, before he was doing the Dennis Sherman thing, Hank Sherman had a thing called Sherman Tank that he was gonna come out with, but I never saw anything come of it.
Okay. And the last thing I kind of want to touch base on before I let you go, Joe, is I know that you're also a professor at Berkeley College. Is that a regular gig you have there?
Yeah, that's my day job. So you can't beat that. I only work several days a week. I go until 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and I play guitar all day.
That's cool. And what I want to ask is, I see that you have these I guess things where you give lessons and stuff, and you have what's actually called a master class. Could you explain what that means? Because I guess you're a master class guitar player, but is that?
Master class. I have like a metal master class where I have usually 8 players in there, and we do various types of fairly technical stuff. Some of the players in there are extremely advanced players. Some of them are not quite as technically advanced, more mid-level players. So to lower level players, it runs like the full spectrum. But we do things of mine. We do things of mine, and we also do things. We do a lot of in-context stuff, like a lot of solos and different things by other players. We do some of my things. We do some Ingve things. We do some Blackmore things. We do some Walter Giardino things. Louis John Roth, Shanker, anything that I like. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And the last thing I want to ask you: do you ever have people taking your class because they know specifically who you are? They might be a fan and want to learn from
Oh yeah. Like I have. There's a lot of that because obviously, players are people that there's a lot of players that are as far as like the people that buy those kind of records, a lot of them are players. So so you got that element going on. So a lot of the students, and I one time I was having a conversation with the president, and he actually said to me, "Oh, you're Joe Stump." I asked a lot of young guitar players why they come here, and they mentioned because Joe Stump teaches me.
That's cool.
So I was really flattered about that.
And how cool is it for a guy that's been doing this for a while now to get a chance for some of these young kids coming to your class, getting to turn them on to the stuff that influenced you?
Well, that's kind of nice, and of course, but I exposure to it, but you know, they got you know, a lot of them listen to a lot of more modern stuff, and of course I'm aware of all the modern stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of them play 7 and 8 strings now, 7 and 8s, you know. So I try to encourage them to, you know, they have their own bands and own plays that they love. So I try to, you know, encourage them to embrace the stuff that they love, you know. But at the same time, I turn them on to, you know, as I like to say, the men. You know, listen to the men. You know, the guys that wrote the book. So as far as you know, metal and hard rock, you know, lead guitar vocabulary is concerned.
And you,
I try to expose them to the finer things.
Cool. And have you ever put out I'm sure you have. Have you ever put out like an instructional DVD of stuff of showing people, you know?
Yeah, like there's a company in the UK called Monumental Music, the Shred Academy, and they put out like, you know, I think I have quite a few of them.
Oh, okay.
You know, 6 or 7 of them or something, and I have an instructional book, Joe Stump's Metal Guitar Chop Shop, so that's, you know, that's available on the Metal Guitar Chop Shop's available on Amazon. That's distributed by Hal Leonard, which is like a huge, you know, publication distributor. And I'm allegedly, you know, now they're drawing up the contract for me to do another book. I'm going to do a sleep arpeggio book, so that's that's my next project in the pipes. But I really don't enjoy doing books at all. I like, you know, I'd much rather be playing the guitar than typing about playing the guitar.
Yeah. And let me ask you before I finally let you go. As far as the new CD, people I assume can get that at your site or Amazon and all the iTunes and all the official.
Yeah, iTunes, Amazon, CD Baby, and Lion Music, the Finnish label. There's also CDs available online, and also, you know, I did a thing where, you know, I was selling personally autographed ones. So anybody interested in contacting me on Facebook, interested in that, you know, they can check that out. You know, I was doing it for like a small amount of time. So, but yeah, it's available at all of your standard outlets.
Well, Joe, once again, it's been great talking to you. I could talk to you all night, but I know you're very busy, man. It's late where you are, so I'm going to let you go. Thanks so much for doing this. The interview should be going up about a week or so. I'll be sure to let the Lord of PR know the minute it goes up so he can tell you. But
sure. Let me know. And if you want, send me. You know, you have my email from you know, Benjamin, kind of like putting us in contact.
Yeah.
Email, and I'll send you some links to some of the Castle stuff because I'm sure you'll enjoy it.
Okay, yeah, I will do that, my friend. Thanks so much, and you have a nice evening, and take care.
All right, cool.
Okay, bye-bye.